Good day, Amherstburg. It's myself, Laura D'Alessandro.
And it's Ron Giofu from the Rivertown Times, back here on the airways of CKBG 107.9 The Berg for the Rivertown Times Week in Review.
Oh, the weather is kind of springish. It's not really what we had during March break, but, at least the sun's been out and we're heading that way. We're trending towards spring, I would say.
Yeah, I went outside yesterday without a coat on. It probably wasn't the greatest decision I've ever made, but
among many.
And on Tuesday, it was a little bit more pleasant. So
things are coming our way. The days are getting longer. There's going to be warmer days ahead for sure.
Absolutely.
Turning our attention to the paper, a public open house was held at the Libro Center last Thursday. Topic of discussion was the potential development of the former General Amher High School site.
Yeah, a lot of people turned out. There's a lot of interest in what's going on at the old General Amherst. And some people were okay with the development. They just don't want to see town hall there. Others were like, looked at the 8 and 11-story towers and thought, hey, wait a minute, that's a bit high. And they're worried about traffic and that sort of thing and the density of the area. Others like the whole thing. Others like the concept of more retail, more business downtown. Some, wanted to make sure there was a theater as part of the development. As they want to keep performers in town to show their talent. So wide range of activity. We got it on page 1 of this week's RTT. So make sure you check it out, both in print and online.
So Monday was town council meeting, and I know that went well into the evening of Monday night. I think what time they sign up, about 9:30?
That's about 9, shortly after 9 o'clock. So
late enough.
Yeah, that'll do.
A big debate and a big topic of discussion on Monday night was the business licensing bylaw. It's been an ongoing topic and was discussed at length in kind of a heated debate at points. Town council, they've seemed to have made a decision in light of what's going on, and maybe there's an end to coming to this discussion.
They've kind of sort of made a decision. They've they've gone back to the 2009 business licensing bylaw as they want further discussions and further reworking of an updated bylaw. They've shown some interest in a business registry, which people can sign up for, so people know, who's operating in town, and the town has an updated file on who's here and who's not. And the debate was about 2 hours. There was a couple motions that failed before they finally passed one. Went in circles at points, but they got it done to a degree. I mean, it doesn't sound like the issue's resolved just quite yet. But again, there's
step in the right direction.
Exactly. Yeah, the business licensing bylaw. Some of the business community was worried about right now, at least, is not going ahead. We'll see if that does go ahead. Right now, that bylaw remains suspended as they put the 2009 business licensing bylaw back in place. Again, to be continued, it would appear. And if you had a business license in 2009, but from that time period, it will be reissued, but you don't have to pay a fee. If your business came into effect after that bylaw was originally repealed, and now that it's back, you will have to pay a fee if you're a recently established business within the town. And I know it sounds really confusing, and it was a somewhat back and forth roundabout debate. Check it all out in this week's RTT, and I've tried to make heads or tails of it and get you the most accurate story I can. It's on page 2 of this week's RTT.
Also coming out of Monday night's council meeting, the town has made a public statement regarding the Boblo Island ferry service, and they're putting forth their concerns and their call to action to be taken by the owners of Boblo and the ferries themselves. So that would be Amoco. They're making the call out to Amoco to say, hey, look, like this is what we need and this is why, and we're hoping that you'll work with us. So I know you that was an in-camera meeting that happened, but Michael Prue spoke to that.
There was a statement released after the meeting. There's concerns over contractual obligations and whether or not they're being met. Story on page 4 of this week's RTT, so check that out. I know the town did meet with their legal counsel on the matter, and we got the story on page 4 of this week's RTT. Of course, the ferry's been a hot topic, especially if you live on the island, and there's been some, frustration amongst the residents about the ability to get back and forth and that sort of thing. So make sure you check out the story on page 2 of this week's RTT. Or page 4, of this week's RTT.
County Council met last Wednesday, and our freelance reporter Fred Groves covered a pair of stories that are on page 5. Maybe you want to touch a little bit on that, Ron, for us?
I have stories on the strategic plan and on Phragmites. The Phragmites issue was brought up by Amherstburg representatives, but unfortunately for the town at least, it's not going forward. Other members of council felt the issue could have been dealt with at the lower tier, and also looked at by the Essex Region Conservation Authority. It doesn't sound like it's going to proceed. A full story on Phragmites and the strategic plan on page 5 of this week's RTT, thanks to Fred. So make sure you check that out as this part of this week's issue.
Chris Lewis has officially kicked off his run for MP of Essex. He's hoping to secure his third term.
Yeah, he's the Conservative candidate and also the incumbent. He's been elected MP twice in 2019 and again in 2021. And he's going to try to keep his seat in the House of Commons in 2025. Of course, we know the election's coming up April 28th. So he's seeking his third kick at the can, and he's hoping to be successful. He's got some competition with Liberal Chris Sutton and NDP's Laurie Whiteman. And the People's Party of Canada also have their candidate. And so make sure you check out the story in this week's RTT and see what some of the things Chris stands for. And make sure, we got a story on him. Like we had the stories on Chris Sutton and Laurie Whiteman last week. We have Chris Lewis this week. So make sure you check it all out and stay on top of the news and who's running for what in the Essex riding in the April 28th federal election.
The town is looking for resident input on the renderings for a new playground coming to Malden Centre.
8 designs have come out from their consultants, and they're posted on Talk to Berg. We've taken those, and our co-op student, Noah Paquette, has combined them into one large design, one large photograph that we've got posted in this week's paper. So make sure you check that out. You can get a look at just some of what is planned. And again, you can vote on Talk to Berg. And they're hoping to get that playground installed by late summer. It's going before council on April 14th, I believe is the date. The administration wants to have it there. It did come up at the Parks Committee meeting last Wednesday night. And we've got a story on this week's issue of the RTT.
Turning our attention to sports, although the Admirals might be done, there was still big hockey action taking place over the weekend at the Libro Centre. AMHA teams showed up in style and represented with great pride, especially the U21 and the U10 teams.
Yeah, the U21s are trying to get their red hat. They're heading to the OMHA finals up in Kingston this coming weekend. They played Riverside in the Blue Water finals, and they came out on top. I was at the second game on Saturday afternoon at the Libro Centre. That ended in a 2-2 tie, but Amherstburg won the previous night in Windsor at the WFCU Centre and clinched the series on Sunday evening back in Windsor. So best of luck to the U21s. The U10s, they're in the finals. They went to overtime against LaSalle on Friday night here at the Libro, and they ended up winning 3-2 in overtime. A power play goal just 9 seconds into overtime sent the U10s into the finals. They had a bit of a rough start in the first game on Sunday night. They lost 12-4 out in Bell River, actually at the Atlas Tube Center in Lakeshore, so hopefully they can right the ship and keep on going, but good job by the U21s. And another good job by the U10s as they're advancing into the playoffs and representing Amherstburg Minor Hockey well in what is the final year for what is now known as the Amherstburg Minor Hockey Association.
Yeah, it also saw the final day of Amherstburg Minor Hockey Day of Champions. That was on Sunday, and what a great little day that is. I know people work really hard in the AMHA organization to put that day on for all the players, and it was kind of bittersweet this year. It marked the end of a great season for a lot of players, and it's also the end of an era. So thank you to all those who've ever been involved in AMHA. I know I have a son that wouldn't have had the experiences he's had on the ice if not for all the dedication of the volunteers that show up and help put these things on for kids. And for you, Ron, too. Just because AMHA is changing doesn't mean that your job's going to change. Yeah. You'll just be covering a team with a different name. But thank you to all those involved and all those that played this year. I hope you had a great season and you're looking forward to the new one to come.
Absolutely. Great job by all the players, and congratulations to all the award winners, and great job by all the volunteers as well.
Okay, turning our attention to the weekend. We talked about it last week on the air. Cram a Cruiser, that's going to be on Saturday. That's a fundraiser in partnership for Wings. They do have an ad in our paper this week on page 15, and in that ad it has a list of everything that they're looking to have donated and crammed into that cruiser. I know I just skimmed it roughly. They're looking for, obviously, pet food, blankets, heating pads, baby formula, a whole list of things that they would like to see show up. That's going to be on Saturday, like I said, from 11 to 2 in the No Frills parking lot. And also on Saturday out in McGregor, the Amherstburg Rotary Club is doing their first, hopefully annual, cornhole tournament. That's going to be on Saturday from 11 to noon, and they have an ad on page 10.
Absolutely. So I know the Rotary Club's looking for people to sign up for the cornhole tournament. Check out that ad. There's a QR code in the ad, so you can scan that. Their website's also contained in there, so check it out. It's also on our Instagram page currently, and we'll get it up on our Facebook and as well as X and on Threads. So make sure you check all those out. And it's $60 a team for a team of 2. So and all money goes
to Easter Seals. Oh, sorry.
Absolutely, yeah. I was just going to say that. Absolutely right. It stays to Easter Seals and stays in Windsor, Essex County.
Fantastic. All right, Ron. Anything else for you?
I want to give a shout out to our drivers, Ken and Louise. They're going around the community and dropping off the papers in stores and in newspaper boxes. So thanks to them. And there's lots more stuff than what we mentioned in the paper. So make sure you pick up your copy either in print or online, www.rivertowntimes.com.
Oh, and stay tuned. Next Wednesday, we'll have a big announcement. Something is being delivered to our office on the 1st of April. So stay tuned. It's exciting.
Absolutely. Keep your radio dials tuned here and listen to our show. And
be the first to know.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are going to be pleased.
I know I will be.
Absolutely.
All right, Amherstburg, have a great day.
Have a great day. Have a great week. And see you next Wednesday at 12 noon and the replay at 4:30.